Takumi was a 40-year-old loser with a job and no enthusiasm for life who is accidentally summoned to another world with full metal alchemist abilities to save the world from an evil god. He was not even the target of the hero's summoning spell and just got caught in it because of an accident that destroyed his body, leaving just his soul behind. As Takumi finds himself floating over the clouds, a winged woman named Nolan introduces herself as the goddess of this world and apologizes to him for the mess he is in. She tells him that an enemy empire tried using the banned summoning spell to teleport a hero, but it went horribly wrong, destroying his body. To make up for it, the goddess offers to send him down to a brand new world with SS rank abilities so that he can live a life which he is happy with. She asks what kind of abilities he wants, and Takumi replies that he is a wimp who doesn't like fighting. Nolan decides to give him some production-based jobs like alchemy and blacksmithing by making him deep throat a magical crystal. Takumi feels like his head is splitting from all the new information about the skills, and then Nolan sends him to the planet with a bang. As he gets up and looks at his face in the lake, Takumi realizes that he has the body of a 17-year-old, and he finds himself so handsome that he wants to quickly rub one off. After that, he checks the supplies that Nolan has left him, including gold and food. Next, he decides to check out the skills he has received, and finds that he can use all sorts of basic magic spells. Takumi then begins exploring the area and finds a branch of a tree monster lying on the ground. His system tells him that this branch can be used to create high-quality weapons, so he immediately uses his blacksmithing skill on it to create a spear. Next, he uses his analysis skill to find that almost every plant around him is a medicinal herb, so he gathers a lot of them and then puts them in his item box. Just then, he hears the voice of a girl screaming, and soon, a loli comes running towards him. She hides behind him, asking him to save her from a monster, and just then, a horned rabbit comes out of the bushes. It pounces at the girl, but Takumi uses his spear to kill it in one blow. Because of that, he levels up and gets the job of a warrior, but he really doesn't want it. The girl named Molly is really impressed, and she thanks Takumi for saving her life. Takumi asks the girl if she can lead him to her village, and she gladly agrees. She asks him to take the horned rabbit with him because it tastes delicious, and Takumi immediately stores it in his item box, only realizing later that he should have not displayed his skills so casually. On the other hand, 3 high school students find themselves in the Holy Sidonia Empire, and the Empress Elizabeth herself comes there to welcome them. She tells the confused heroes that she summoned them here to save the world, but the summoned girl doesn't trust her at all. Just then, she gets a special skill from Nolan, which allows her to reach the correct decision just by following her instincts. The girl's instincts tell her that Elizabeth is a dangerous woman, and she must stay away from her. Meanwhile, Takumi reaches the village with Molly, where her parents thank him for saving her. Takumi asks them if he can stay in the village for a while, and they gladly accept him. They introduce him to the local blacksmith, who tells him that not only are the forests around the village rich with medicinal herbs, there is also a natural mine near it, so it is great for all sorts of craftsmen. Takumi is really excited to hear this, and then Molly's parents tell him that they don't have any inn in the village for him to stay in. Takumi says that he can just camp outside, but the blacksmith says they can create a house for him quickly. The villagers gather around and take Takumi to a vacant lot, which he flattens with his earth magic. That uses up most of his mana and gives him a migraine, but the villagers are amazed because magic users are quite rare. They help him in building a house quickly, and Takumi uses his carpentry and blacksmithing skills to put together some furniture for himself. He then fiddles around with his status window and changes his job from a warrior to an alchemist. With that out of the way, he moves on to the ores he mined with the help of the blacksmith. He has copper, iron, and silver ores, along with magic iron ore that can store mana inside it. Takumi is already thrilled at the idea of performing alchemy and converting every sort of material into gold, and he excitedly starts working on the iron ore. He doesn't need a furnace or fancy tools because he can use magic to remove the impurities from the ore and then shape it into a brick. He consumes a lot of mana for doing that, but his excitement forces him to keep working on. Soon, Molly comes to his home to call him over for dinner, but she is horrified when she finds Takumi passed out on the ground, exhausted after using all his mana. She calls her parents over, who lecture Takumi, and then give him a mana-restoring potion. The next day, Molly and her mom keep a watchful eye on Takumi to make sure he is not overexerting himself again, and that slows down his progress quite a lot. He manages to refine more metals in the following days and even creates some utensils for himself, which levels up his alchemy job. In his free time, he helps the village blacksmith to create high-quality weapons with his magic, and that levels up his blacksmith job class. After that, he goes to Molly's dad and asks to borrow some potions so that he can try and copy their recipe. Molly's dad lets him borrow some basic potions and tells Takumi that he can sell the potions he makes to him later. Takumi then goes home and starts cooking while praising Jesse Pinkman and Walter White. He makes some magic blue drugs like his idols, but finds that the color is different from the original recipe. The next day, this junkie goes to the forest and begins eating any poisonous plant he finds, and then purifies the poison so that he can gain resistance to poison and improve his purification magic level. As he is recovering from eating a specially dangerous plant, a giant armored boar attacks him. Takumi panics on seeing the monster. He tries fighting back with his spear, but it shatters on contact with the boar. Takumi barely dodges its first attack and then shoots magic attacks at him, but neither of them do any damage. As he backs away, Takumi suddenly stumbles across a poisonous spider that is badly injured. He thinks that he will have to fight two monsters at the same time now, but then the spider jumps on the boar's face, distracting it. The boar hits some trees to get the spider off his face and then resumes his attack on Takumi. Takumi is at his wit's end now, but then suddenly, he gets an idea that is really risky, but it is the only way he can win. The boar charges at him, and instead of dodging, Takumi just leaps towards it. He uses his alchemy skill to decompose the boar's brain, killing it instantly. After that, he stumbles towards the injured spider, and to thank it for helping him earlier, he heals its injuries. With that, Takumi starts heading back, but then his system tells him that he has tamed the poison spider. Takumi freaks out, but the spider looks at him with puppy eyes, and he is forced to accept it as a pet. He decides to name it Maple because of the design on its back, and that causes the spider to evolve and it becomes able to talk. Takumi takes the spider back to the village with him, and everyone freaks out on seeing this. They are even more shocked to learn that Takumi has tamed it because insects are not generally willing to be tamed. Takumi tells them that it is not important, and they should focus on the giant boar he has hunted. The villagers throw a party that night to eat boar meat, and Molly's dad gives Takumi the valuable materials from the boar. He tells him to go to the city and sell them for a great price, because a talented person like him should not limit himself to a simple village. On the other hand, Nolan is watching over Takumi's progress, and she is really happy for him. Just then, another goddess arrives there and asks Nolan if Takumi is someone special, because not only did she give him a new body and special powers, she also sent him to the world 1 year before the summoning by the Sidonia Empire. A couple of days later, as Takumi wakes up, he suddenly finds himself cocooned by Maple's silk threads. He gets furious at her and begins lashing out, asking why the hell did she do this. Maple nervously tells him that he was busy all the time and she wanted Daddy's attention, so she had to do this. Takumi realizes that he was really paying no attention to Maple as he was busy cooking potions. He tells her that he will take a day off to play with her today, and Maple starts jumping over him in joy. Just then, Molly's mom comes there with breakfast, and as she sees the spider on top of Takumi, she suspects that he has weird and illegal fetishes. Takumi tries to assure her that he doesn't like getting pegged by his pet spider, but then Molly's mom notices the sparkling silk threads hanging from the roof, and her greedy side awakens, scaring both Takumi and Maple. The woman makes a shirt using the shiny silk threads, which are a luxury item that only nobles can afford. All the women in the village gather to fawn over the shiny shirt, and Maple becomes an instant celebrity among them. She starts enjoying the attention of the village women and tells Takumi that she can't play with him today because she is busy. Takumi decides to do some work in that case, and he heads to the blacksmith who has prepared some light leather armor for him. Just then, Molly's dad also comes there and asks Takumi when is he planning to move out. Takumi is taken aback by this because he was wondering how to break the news to the villagers who have been so kind to him. However, everyone already thinks that he should go to a city where his talents can shine properly. The two men tell him that a merchant from the neighboring city is coming to their village next week, and they have arranged for a seat on his carriage already. Takumi is deeply touched by their gesture, and he sincerely thanks them. After that, he heads back home and finds Molly's mom, who is going to throw away the guts of the horned rabbits her husband has hunted in the morning. She says that they are the most delicious meat of the horned rabbit, but they need proper cleaning and processing that isn't possible in this village. Takumi tells her that he can use the holy element magic and immediately purifies the meat. This surprises Molly's mom, who advises him not to show the purification magic to anyone because only a select few people can use it, and he may get some unwanted attention because of it. After this, Takumi spends the entire week trying to develop the village. He creates a stone wall to protect it from dangers and even sets up some hand pumps for easy supply of water. When the merchant Papik comes to the village the next week, he is dumbfounded to see the wall. Molly's dad and the blacksmith come outside to do business with him, and soon Takumi also arrives there. He introduces himself to the merchant, and then tells Molly's dad that he left 100 bottles of basic healing potion at his house in case the village ever needs them. Papik is shocked to see the healing potion because it looks really high quality, and he asks if he can take a closer look at it. While he is busy examining the potion, Takumi says his goodbye to Molly and the villagers, who have made a special jacket for him using maple silk. After thanking them for everything, Takumi gets on the carriage. The villagers wave him goodbye and he gets emotional, thinking that this village is his hometown in this world. This emotional goodbye makes even Papik's bodyguard shed a tear. The blonde man then introduces himself as Heath, the redhead as Real, and the silent Baldy as Bogger. Papik says that they are a C-rank adventure party and he hired them as his bodyguards. As they start to make small talk, the redhead Real asks about the bag Takumi is holding, and he reveals that he has his pet spider in it. This shocks everyone, and Real tries getting a closer view at the tamed spider. Maple thinks that he is a pervert, so she immediately headbutts him, and then goes into the bald guy's lap, who holds her without any issue. While the three adventurers fight for Maple's attention, Papik tells Takumi that he wants to buy the healing potions he gave to the villagers earlier. Before they can get to the details of business, Papik is forced to stop his carriage as there are monsters in front of him. Takumi takes a look outside and finds some goblins approaching them. The adventurers immediately go outside, ready for action, but Papik is pissing his pants already. The adventurers low diff the goblins quickly, and their journey remains peaceful after that. 3 days later, they reach the city of Bolton, where Takumi decides to go to the Adventurer Guild first. He wants to register himself at the Alchemist Guild, but the receptionist tells him that there isn't one. Takumi is dejected, but he decides to sign up as an adventurer and registers Maple as his pet. Once that is done, he pays Papik's company a visit to make a deal about the potions he has. Papik offers him a good price for the potions, and it takes Takumi a full minute to do the math inside his mind to realize that he would become a millionaire in Japan with just this one transaction. Papik tells him that he will earn more for the same items once he gets famous, and Takumi thinks that it is too good to be true. He wonders if Papik has ulterior motives because ideally, he should be ripping him off since he is a newbie. Suddenly, Papik suggests him to get a house with a workshop so that he can do business easily. Takumi panics on hearing that because he doesn't think he has enough savings for that, but Papik says that he can just rent a house. He calls his butler and tells him to show one of their better properties to Takumi. The butler leads him to a mansion with an attached workshop, and the rent is also quite low. Takumi thinks that it is too good to be true, but he accepts the deal anyway. The next day, he moves into the mansion, and the first thing he does is create a toilet seat using magic because he isn't comfortable with anything else. That eats a lot of his mana, and as he is drinking mana potions to replenish it, he hears a scream from the hall. Takumi runs outside to see what is happening, and to his shock, Maple has put Papik in a cocoon. Takumi freaks out and asks the spider why would she do such a thing, and she replies that people enjoy this. Takumi says that only the village children enjoyed this, but turns out Papik feels really comfy in the cocoon. Anyway, Takumi frees him and then apologizes on Maple's behalf. Papik doesn't mind that, and asks to go to the toilet before doing business. Takumi points him towards the toilet, and as Papik sees the glossy ceramic toilet seat, he is astonished. Takumi tells him about its features that enable it to purify the waste instantly, and Papik asks if he can use purification magic. Takumi realizes he had to keep it a secret, and he asks the merchant to keep it a secret. Papik agrees to that, but then he asks Takumi to make 100 more of same toilet seats because that would be really good for business. Takumi agrees, and then Papik tells him to get some helping hands, and suggests that he takes in a slave instead of workers. Takumi is shocked by this, but Papik tells him that if he gets a slave, he can keep his holy magic a secret from the world. He says that anyone who can use holy element magic is scooped up by the church, which exploits them and profits using their healing magic, so they must keep his powers a secret. Takumi says that he understands this, but he is against hiring a slave because he needs to keep a moral high ground. However, Papik convinces him that it is not a bad thing to do, and takes him to a reliable slave trader. As he goes inside to get someone, Takumi decides to take a walk in the beautiful garden there. Suddenly, his eyes meet a pretty elf girl, but she coldly tells him to go home, confusing him. The elf repeats her sentence, telling him that this is not a place for a child like him, so he should return where he came from. Anyway, Takumi soon visits the goth MILF that runs the slave company. After the introductions are over, Papik tells the goth mommy that Takumi is not comfortable with using slave contracts because it is something against his morals. The mommy tells him that he doesn't need to worry about that, because in their country, the rights of slaves are protected. She gives him a general gist about the slavery laws, which state that the owner has to respect the basic human rights of the slave and provide them with food, clothing, and shelter. They can't harm the slaves seriously either, and forcing them to do things that were not mentioned at the time of the contract is also forbidden. Takumi finally realizes that this is much better than what he imagined at first, and then the goth mommy begins telling him about the types of slaves. First, there are the people who became slaves because of a debt they couldn't pay, and they must be released when they have worked enough to pay the debt. Criminals can become slaves to get a chance to reform their lives, and even prisoners of war are taken as slaves to get a place to stay. Lastly, there are also the unfortunate people who were kidnapped by robbers and made slaves illegally. Papik speaks up on Takumi's behalf, saying that he would like a war slave who can't be freed without their master's will because Takumi has some skills and talent that needs to be kept secret. The mommy asks Takumi what are his requirements, and he replies that he wants someone to look after his house and also act as his bodyguard during raw material gathering and guild quests. The mommy says that he will need 2 slaves to meet all his demands, and calls a girl named Maria who was kidnapped by bandits when she was little. She is well educated and trained in housekeeping, and Takumi is smitten because she looks low-key cute. He tells Maria about the size of his house, and she tells she can manage it all herself. He then asks why is someone as cute as her still available because there should be a line of guys wanting to pick her. Maria turns red on hearing this compliment, and she tells Takumi that she will only do his household chores and she won't let him sneak into her room at night for some raw action. Takumi gets flustered and he tries his hardest to convince her that he is a Sigma male who won't do anything inappropriate with her. The goth mommy tells them that they are ready to form a contract now, and just like that, Maria becomes Takumi's slave. The mommy then tells Takumi that they don't have a war slave to act as his bodyguard right now, but Maria reminds her that they have one girl called Sophia. The MILF tells her that it is not her place to suggest things to her, and tells her to go and pack her things urgently. Hearing this exchange makes Takumi curious about Sophia, and he presses the mommy to at least let him meet the girl. She takes him along, and turns out that Sophia is the same elf girl that Takumi saw earlier. The mommy tells him that she was captured 50 years ago in a war with the elves, and ever since then, she has not taken a master. She says that Sophia has the damage from the war all over her body, and her magic has also been sealed because of some sort of curse. This makes her unfit to be a combatant or a bodyguard. Takumi asks the MILF to let him speak with Sophia in private, and she leaves them alone in the room. Sophia tells Takumi to go home once again, but he holds her face and forcibly looks into her status window to find that she is crazy strong, but the damage to her limbs and the curse make her useless right now. He thinks that if he can heal her, she will be a great asset to him, and he immediately calls the mommy, telling him that he will form a contract with the elf. Sophia reminds him that she is more useless than Sakura right now, but Takumi says that he is the president of the I Can Fix Her Club. Soon, the paperwork is complete, and then the MILF casts the contract magic to bind the 2 girls to Takumi. After that, he heads home, but just as he opens the door, Maple pounces on him, making him fall to the ground. Sophia panics, thinking that she needs to take the monster off of her master's head, but Takumi tells her to stop because Maple is actually his pet. The girls are confused, but they accept that Takumi is a weirdo they can't understand. He then leads them inside and gives them their own rooms because he has too many free rooms anyway. He tells them that they can freely use the bath in the house as they please, and the girls hit it immediately after settling down. Once inside the bath, Maria says that she never thought that the mommy would let Sophia go because she has always been really protective of her. But Takumi must be special. However, Sophia is lost in thoughts about the contracts she saw earlier. Most of the information about Takumi was left blank, and she wonders just who the hell is he. After that, they go to the dining room, where Takumi has prepared dinner for everyone. Maria complains and throws a tantrum because cooking is supposed to be her job, and Takumi somehow consoles her. Sophia also has concerns about him allowing slaves to eat together with him, but Takumi tells her that he is chill like that. The next day, he receives a parcel from Payback, and then goes shopping in the market. On the way, he notices a church, so he casually walks inside. He finds a statue of Nolan there and starts praying to her. He has heard that the Empire of Sidonia controls religion in this country as well, and he wonders why does Nolan hate them so much when they worship her too. Suddenly, he hears Nolan's voice, telling him that she hates them because she is not a part of their circle. Takumi opens his eyes to see himself floating over the clouds, and he panics, wondering if he is dead again. Nolan tells him that she has just called him up for a chat, and then she tells him about her relation with Sidonia and its policies. She says that originally, there was the Church of Creation that worshipped her, but then the Sidonia Empire formed the Church of Divine Light that worshipped a god that didn't even exist. Sidonia used their power to get more followers and began pushing back the Church of Creation, but Nolan didn't want to interfere in the petty matters of humans. After this, she tells Takumi that while her other blessings she granted him will last forever, she also gave him a little bit of plot armor that is about to be used up soon. She tells him that he might find it harder to solve problems now, and the people he meets may want to harm him. Takumi finally realizes that all the helpful people he met till now were brought to him by Nolan's blessing, but now it is all up to him. With that, the prayer ends, and he finds himself back in the church. He returns home soon, and instantly, Maple tackles him and makes him fall down. As the girls come to help him pick his stuff up, Takumi sees Sophia reaching his special parcel, and he immediately uses the item box to keep it away from her. He then hurries to the workshop to do some experiments, but now Sophia is curious because the package was wrapped in magic paper. She wonders what was inside the parcel that needs to be protected so seriously, and she follows Takumi to the workshop. To her horror, Takumi dips a knife in a pot of poison and then slashes his hand with it before using holy magic to purify the poison so that he can level up his holy magic to treat Sophia. He groans in pain the entire time, and then suddenly mentions Maria's name, which provokes Sophia into confronting him. She barges into the room and tells him that she won't forgive him if he does anything to Maria, and then suddenly, she collapses in Takumi's arms. He finds that she is extremely exhausted and also has a slight injury on her hand. He tries to heal her, but it is really hard and tiring because the curse resists healing magic, but he succeeds in doing it and his holy magic levels up. After that, he takes her to her room and Maria informs him that whenever Sophia gets too excited or anxious, she collapses from exhaustion. Takumi tells her that it is the last time and then casts a curse-dispelling spell as well as a high-level healing spell on Sophia that heals her injuries and regrows her cut ear. When Sophia wakes up later, Maria shares the good news with her. Sophia is stunned to see her ear healed, and then she finds that even her magic is back. Maria suddenly hugs her, saying that she is perfectly healthy now. Sophia then goes to thank Takumi, who decides to clear up any misunderstanding between them. He tells her that he was poisoning himself and then using healing magic to level it up so that he could help her. He also clarifies just mentioning Maria's name because she accidentally threw out some of his poisonous herbs in garbage. Sophia asks why he would do such a dangerous thing, and Takumi reminds her that he is the president of the I Can Fix Her Club. Sophia is moved to tears because of this, and she kneels before Takumi, swearing her lifelong loyalty to him. The next day, Takumi goes to the library to find some books on alchemy, and he is really unimpressed when he learns that there are only 4 books on the topic in the entire